I made the mistake of not plugging in my laptop, so I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So, as some of you may have seen on Twitter, and you might see from the fumbling around, and also the um, title of the video of the stream here, I recently acquired some new hardware, and by that I mean I have a new laptop, which is what I'm streaming on now. So you may see that the video quality is a little better, and I'm hoping the sound quality is still up to par. I'm not using the mic I was talking about in the last stream, and this is because the Line 6 mechanism that I had, this box here, is rather old, and the driver has not been updated to Windows 10 yet. And considering I just got a brand new laptop, it's kind of hard to find something that isn't running Windows 10, but I wouldn't sacrifice the new software for the old hardware. So I'm going to see how this new mic setup works with just the laptop mic on here. But this is a gaming computer. That's what it's marketed as. So I'm hoping that the mic has received a little bit of love from the um, from the developers of the product. I would imagine it is at least better than my old laptop in that my current laptop is now not as loud, so there shouldn't be as much background noise. Um, but I will see on playing back this episode of the stream how well that sounds. I can see that the sound seems to be not capping out as it was uh, with the old laptop. So with the new laptop, I have transferred over a lot of my. I've downloaded Python. I have obviously have the Open Broadcaster streaming, but other than that, I haven't put too much on, and uh, I haven't delved too far deep into the realm of possibility with the new laptop. So I will be looking into that in the near future and throughout the course of owning this laptop. Um, but I decided just because I don't have the most energy today, and I wanted to give you guys something, but also I want to um, I wanted to test out the capabilities of this new laptop. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running Jeffrey in the current state, which still has errors. It's still the same state that it was in the last stream, but I want to also run the AI at the same time. So I'm going to see if I can get that going here. So let me try and pull that up. So we'll get this going, and so obviously there is a little bit of problem with the scene. For some reason, Open Broadcaster is capturing too much uh, in comparison to what it should be capturing. But okay, I think. All right, here we go. So I'm going to just edit this real quick. that go. Bear with me, I'm trying to get a hold of this. Okay, well, I can't get the actual AI information showing up on the side, but it is running, so we will see that Jeffrey should be learning now, as opposed to just saying. You will also notice that Jeffrey is going much faster and much smoother. I'm hoping that is translating to the stream. I have the stream up and running here, but I'm not sure how well it's going. Um, so, like I said today, I just wanted to test some stuff out. So I figured I would just hang out with you guys and play some guitar while Jeffrey goes crazy. So, um, if I see any questions in the chat, I'll definitely answer them. I don't know if I was able to get anyone's attention on Twitter because I was a little last second with saying that I was going to be streaming. Let me see. I'm trying to see if this new laptop will allow me to view it. Oh, so I am getting 1080p. I doubt that it will. Uh, well, it's buffering fine. Okay, so I'm happy to see that, um, and I'm happy that Jeffrey is spinning around in circles once again. Um, so, like I said, there still is the errors occurring. So Jeffrey is not perfect in coding, but he should be reading in and learning at least somewhat correctly. So we should see some intelligence growth over the course of this showing. And so one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned. So just before I started the stream up, I reset everything in this cycle of learning. The old running is still on my old laptop, so I didn't want to be kind of behind, but a little bit smarter. So I wanted to show you guys the entire situation with with the AI. So I'm gonna try and get this into a more convenient setup on my. I know I should probably have this uh, set up before I um, get around to it, but this is a new laptop and this is a new setup, so just keep that in mind. So I don't know if anyone has requests, but I have been working a little bit on a new song, by Santeria by Sublime, so just mess around with that until I get bored. I don't know if I'll be talking about anything later on in the stream, but I will just kind of go with the flow today. So I hope you enjoy. I ain't got no crystal ball. I had $1 million, but I'd spend it all if I could find that Hannah that gets so tried she's back. But I'd pop a cap and Sancho and I'd slap her dead. streams cutting in and out, I tried closing some of the programs I had on my computer going. I'm not sure if it's an internet problem or if it's just a matter of I had too many things going at once. But I hope that that is not a recurring theme throughout this. It's saying I'm dropping a lot of frames. I'm not sure if that's something I can fix at the moment. Let me get my Surface so I can check on the stream. I know this probably isn't the most professional episode. Okay, it looks like we're still going live. I hope we didn't cut it up into two parts. Yeah, no, it looks like we're still live. So I'll keep that handy. Uh, so, like I was saying, I don't really have much to talk about today. I have some topics that I plan to talk about in the future, and I'm keeping the list. I didn't want to sell it short, though. I didn't want to try to make an effort to give you guys a full-length episode when there we go, now it's on the screen. A full-length episode when I wasn't feeling up to it. So I will be working on that, and I will be researching those topics in the future so that I can. Oh, there we go. We're seeing a decision change for Jeffrey. I will be working on that, and in the future, I will be uh, researching those topics so that I can give you guys a full length, full description video stream. So for now, I just wanted to sit around and talk, and I feel like it's practice I need to get. It's something I need to get better at, because like I noticed, I say a lot. It's hard for me to talk to a camera still, so I'm trying to get a little more used to the just kind of laid back, just talking to the screen. It's also hard for me because I have the video of myself off to the left, and then the camera is up in the middle. So I know it's important to try and look at the camera, but I'm also trying to watch Jeffrey here. So, it's cool because I'm getting a fairly real-time image in the video without much cutting out. So all I have to do is have the streaming software open with video capture, and it can serve all the purposes. That actually should be better now that I have it full screen. So I will be looking at basically where my eyes are if I'm looking at the camera. So um, I'm hoping that all of this is on screen on the stream. I know that YouTube cuts a little bit of the edges off. It doesn't look like that's a problem though. It looks like the edges are fairly visible. I do like the new picture quality. That's a nice step up from the 480p. Although it gets the job done for the animation that I'm using for Jeffrey, but in the actual video, it's not really doing justice to the picture, and I would like to do justice to the face. So uh, play a little bit more music now that I know the stream is up and running. Okay, so now we're seeing those errors show up. So these are the errors I'm talking about. I need to go in and actually look at. So what I did in the AI, and the reason it's still running even though it got errors, was there was errors that I wasn't sure if it was a computer problem or if it was a coding problem. And obviously now I can see that it is a coding problem. So I have program set up to where if it receives those errors, then it just drops that attempt to test the fitness of that program, which basically makes the score negligible. And what it does, which is nice, is that those errors don't propagate. Now, there are errors that have been propagating because the driver still crashes every once in a while. I'm not sure what those errors are, so there's a lot that I need to look at, but I've been on spring break and it's with hanging out with friends and everything, it's been a little hard to sit down and crack down on what these errors are. Now, I'm hoping that with the new computer, I will be a little more motivated to try and figure out those errors. I know that they it's good to look for them anyway because every time that I've looked for errors, I've found other errors that I hadn't even been seeing the result of. Um, and also I know in the last stream I made a point that it was probably on my end that the driver crashed every time Jeffrey ate a food pellet. Now, I don't know if that's every time because I'm pretty sure I have seen Jeffrey eat food pellets and keep going. But the problem is if even sometimes it crashes when he eats that, then um, well, I guess that wouldn't really cause too much of a problem because the driver itself isn't learning. So the AI is having a problem. Now, if the errors are occurring in the child program of the AI side, then that could be problematic because then the associations with um, eating food are not propagating through to the next generations. So then Jeffrey would never learn how to eat the food. And this, like I've said in the past, is a goal for the newer runnings because in the previous running it was not achieved. Now I know that it was not achieved because Jeffrey was basically not learning, but he was just randomly changing his decisions. Um, but I'm hoping that with the new fixes that I have already made and the fixes I will make in the future, Jeffrey will start to make those associations. I do think this is a long-term project. Long-term as in it will take a long time to see the results. Not necessarily long-term as in this is the only thing I'm going to be doing for a while. I have been considering other projects. I'm reaching the stage in my dynamics class that would allow me to do a project I have been thinking about doing for a while. It requires some rigid body rotation that I didn't think I could do justice trying to learn on the internet. But I knew I was coming up to it in my class anyway, so uh, when I have a good understanding of that, I will take a stab at the project I was um, I was thinking of. And that project is something to do with a prototype device that would be controlled by the AI. Um, Now, I don't know how far into the future it would be before I actually have a solid prototype device that I can program, but that is more of a time and money question than uh, a progress question, because at the moment I feel like I could confidently uh, program the device, but uh, actually getting the device is the hard part. So for the time being, it's I'm focusing more on the software side until I possibly have a little bit more money of my own to invest into new hardware and whatnot. Now you'll notice it's a little cluttered behind me. I'm actually still in my hometown in my old room, so I got the space station going, keeping an eye on us. And actually, if you pan up a little bit, I have my hats, and you know I like my hat. So yeah, Jeffrey seems to be having fun shooting around. Um, I did check. There is not a spike for shooting the gun. There is a spike in score for um, hitting an enemy with the bullet, and I don't know if this spike is having any application into the reason why Jeffrey shoots everywhere. This because the gun itself does not um, it does not produce any score. It can only produce score by raising the health and by shooting. When you shoot an enemy, it raises the health and the battery. So it, but in comparison, if you shoot the gun twice, then it's a loss of battery. But battery isn't linked to score as much as health is. So if the health goes up, the score technically would go up over time. So there could be an advantage to just spinning around and randomly hitting an enemy, but in the current environment that Jeffrey should be testing, there is no possible enemies. So for the simulation, there's only one object in the screen that's a food pellet, and it's known. So the simulation will not be receiving any information about enemies. Now, if there were an unknown and Jeffrey were testing that scene, then uh, it is possible that he would learn a little bit about enemies because the unknowns could be randomly selected to be enemies. Um, so I don't know if you guys want me to do any specific things during this stream. In particular, I could pull up Paint and see how I do with the new mouse, but I know it'll be an improvement from the trackpad at least. But I figured I would just hang out for a bit. I know this probably won't be as long as the normal Saturday streams, but I wanted to get something out, but at the same time not try to force anything. So I'm trying to get the information, the updates on my new setup. I don't think I'll be bringing the mic to back to UCF. I'm gonna check the playback of the stream though to see if the uh, laptop mic is up to my standards of sound quality. I know I have quite high uh, standards for sound quality because I am a very up-to-date hardware man, and I'm being very sarcastic. So. Mama just killed me. Putting down the distance then by trading now instead. Mama, life had just begun. Now I've gone through it all already. Mama, ooh, I didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, carry on. Nothing really matters. Oh, sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angel. Lonely as I am, together we cry. I drive in the streets of the streets like a canyon, walk through the hills of who I am. She sees my good deeds and kisses me with me. Darling, I never worry. I wanna feel like I did like that. Take me to the place I love. Take me away. I'll never wanna feel like I did that day. And take me to the place I love. Take me away. See if anyone's in the chat. Not seeing anything that needs response. I'm starting to hit 30 minutes here, and we're not seeing much more progress with Jeffrey. I wanted to give a benchmark for how much learning occurs in the beginning stages, because I feel like that never really got shown due to the fact that I felt it unnecessary to just show you what was happening right at the start, um, because the because it's fairly similar to the normal situation. Now that I'm talking, it actually seems like something has changed. The decision to spin around and shoot has been thrown out the window for a decision to do nothing but turn on the flashlight. Okay, so now we're spinning again. So you can see that the decisions are changing relatively dynamically. Well, not dynamically, but relatively often, do more than normal, because the normal way that decisions would change on the stream when I was showing you would be because the health was changing. And the health is still changing, but it is not changing as rapidly as the decision differences are occurring. So these decision differences are occurring because the AI is creating new decisions for the environment. Now, because it has never learned about any other environment other than this one it's in, there should only be one instinct. Actually, that's not true. There could be instincts for any combination of battery and health we've seen. Um, so I'll leave it running, and it may have been that the decision for spinning around and shooting was just the mental health, and that was what changed. But there have been more dynamic switching of changes of decisions. So I believe that was a switch. If any, actually, it could have been the 50. What was it, the 50% health mark? But at least it's showing that the decisions are changing from the beginning decision of just spinning around. So I'll leave him running for a bit. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to stream, just because I feel like I'm kind of boring people if they're watching, but I will continue for a bit just to give a better benchmark of Jeffrey. And it's possible I could probably just leave this running for a bit without me talking, because this is the main focus. I want people to see Jeffrey's learning process. So, and I say learning process as if it's it's the AI's progress, not necessarily process. It'd be hard to visualize the process um, just from looking at Jeffrey, but I have done my best to, or maybe not my best, but I've taken a good stab at trying to uh, orally explain that process in the past. So if you are interested, I would implore you to check out my past videos on the topic. I've been I talked a little bit about this when I was restarting the channel, but basically what I'm doing with the Saturday streams specifically, and so it is that because they are so long, and I feel like that might be a little bit daunting to see an hour-long video. Not many people have an hour out of their day that they can sit down and watch something. So what I do is, because I have different segments in the Saturday videos usually, is that I'll split that video up into each individual segment and repost those videos individually. So then the full live stream is there, and you get the little transitions and the little intricate details that you don't get with the individual videos, but the individual videos are convenient. They are shorter, and so you can watch a full live stream pretty much bit by bit over the course of a couple days if you wanted to. But what I do is I've been making playlists. So if you go onto the playlist page on my channel, you'll be able to see all the different topics that I talk about, the generalized topics. So whether they're science topics, psychology topics, which I know is technically science, it's just easier to. Actually, I don't know if I put science, psychology topics. I put social topics. So if there's something that is psychological but could come up in a social environment, then I just throw it into that category. And then, but the one that if you're looking for more information on my AI, I have all of the AI updates since I restarted the channel in a playlist called AI Updates. So if you're looking for that, you can drill through all of them. I will warn you that some of them are quite long due to the fact that my Wednesday streams are extremely variable in length. Um, and they have been actually getting a little longer just because now I've gotten a little more comfortable in front of the camera, and I've gotten a little better at getting my point across. Um, so I think Jeffrey actually switched directions. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Might be easier for you guys to go back and look at the previous part of the video, but um, he isn't making any smart decisions, but that's not expected, considering he's only been running for about 40 minutes. I think even less than that, if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so the YouTube is saying I've been streaming for 36 minutes, but I guess that would kind of drop down because I didn't start him right away. So I don't know. He's been running for at least 30 minutes. And so some decisions have been made, but they are not going to be decisions that necessarily help his playing. They are just decisions that get some quick scores. And so what hopefully happens in the running of the AI is that in later um, in later I don't know why I'm starting a sentence like that. So later on in the running is I would hope to see that the decisions are more long-term decisions. So they're not necessarily decisions that benefit the current situation, but they are decisions that will supply score over a long period of time. So that would be something like getting a food pellet, because if he gets a food pellet and his health goes up, then he's getting a constant increase in score. So a higher health is higher score. Um, but then also, if an enemy is there and he shoots it, then it's a long-term benefit, because then if the enemy is no longer destroying his health, then his health stays where it's at as opposed to dropping all the way down. Also, he gets a slight benefit in health and that, like I've said. So I'll let Jeffrey spin around for a bit. Um, so I'll just continue to jam out a little bit, I guess. I realized just now that I haven't really gotten to explain the actual AI side, the visualization. So what you're seeing on the side, on the left side here. So what each word means, you'll see it says beep. So I gave it sound effects. I gave it uh, literary sound effects, not necessarily actual onomatopoeia sound effects. But I gave it sound effects so that I could tell that it was working. So when it says beep, that means that it's in the BOSS program. So that means that the BOSS program is reading in the current environment and it's writing out an order for the parent, and adjusting the priorities so that the parent knows what kind of environment to try and learn and what instinct to improve. Then when it blips, that means it's in the child program. So the child program is testing something, uh, is testing the initial test of fitness, and then it will say bloop, and that means that it is in the parent program. Now, you'll see that it beeps and then blips a little bit and then bloops, and I'm sure this whole conversation sounds very interesting, but that's the idea. Um, So it beeps, it blips a little bit, and then it bloops, which just means that it's before the actual print statement that bloops in the parent program. It tests the initial fitness tests. So the parent program has already written out the new generation, and then it runs that generation and words, tests its fitness, um, and then once it's tested its fitness, it lets me know that it's in the parent program, and then it moves on a to the next step, which is the testing of differences. So it tests if each individual different decision is a better decision than the current decision in that instinct. And if it is, it replaces it and it moves on with its life. But if not, then if the child program is still better, then it completely replaces the new instinct. So I'm so used to saying child program. Currently, it's not an actual program. So looked like the the driver program conked out there. I'm not sure why it should do that. I'm running the reloader I was talking about, which kind of uh, should be able to get around that. But I don't know. These are things I need to look into, and you'll see that it's saying error a lot. Odds are it's the same error, so it's not necessarily something that is occurring a lot. It's just the same thing happening over and over again. I guess that would be occurring a lot. I don't know. But uh, so what I'm thinking is that if all of the errors that are popping up are the same error, then um, it should just be one quick fix for all of them. But like I said, I need to actually sit down and crack down on that. But that is actually, I think it just crashed again. but the reloader worked this time. It restarted it. So like I said, there's still a lot to work on for the environment program, but with the new hardware, the new laptop, I should be able to at least test my improvements a lot easier, and I will be able to put a lot more quality content out in terms of video quality, audio quality, and reliability. So uh, I think I'm going to be signing off here. Check the chat one last time. Um, but for now, I want to thank you for watching. Next time you see me, most likely on Wednesday, it's crashing in. Most likely on Wednesday, so I'm planning to stay on schedule with that since I'll be back at school, so it will be a more rigid schedule. And I will also be back in my more bland, less crowded room uh, with just the sunglasses on the wall. So I will see you there, but I want to thank you for watching, and uh, and I will talk to you in the streams to come.